it's due on the 5th of April, so you have a couple of weeks. And it's going to be this lecture plus the next one, where you'll have, more materials to go through, and then some of the readings as well. So the assignment is a 1,000-word essay, and the goal of this assignment, by the way, is for you to pass. It's not about punishing you or testing. I would love you to pass. So all the information is there. You might need to look up a bit more yourself as well. But I thought, and we've already just discussed it, and we can talk about it some more too. So like I said, I'm happy for everyone to know as much as they can about this. But let's look at childhood vaccination policy in Australia or your home country. If you want to look at another setting, that's totally cool. In fact, that's great actually if you want to do that. In order to explore the ethical issues which such a policy raises. So analyze the problem in two different ways by choosing two of the ethical frameworks presented in class. So then after this, I'll get to what the ethical frameworks are, and we can talk about it more next week as well. So basically, the essay, it's only 1,000 words, plus you can go a little bit over or a little bit under if you needed. Probably you'll need to go a bit over, but I thought I'd just keep it tight, so just 1,000 words or 1,100. So just a brief introduction to the vaccination policy in your chosen setting, so country. So most of you probably choose Australia. In Australia, there's some very good materials about this. But I would love, if you're interested in your kind of home country, then I think that's really great. So in Australia, for example, there's a lot of discussion about it, like the no jab, no pay. It's like, tied to school enrollments. Like that's what we're talking about when we're talking about policy. Like that basically these days, it's become pretty mandatory for children to be vaccinated in order to access resources, services, school, everything. So that's what we mean by vaccination policy. And then an ethical analysis of the interventions outlined in the policy using two of the public health ethics frameworks introduced in class. You can choose any of the frameworks. So there are 4, and I'll get to that in a sec. And a brief discussion comparing the two approaches, including similarities and differences you found, if any. So the idea, I guess, with this exercise is, one, it's a writing exercise. So, for you to improve your essay writing skills, and then your understanding of ethics. So from the kind of introduction that you've gotten, and being able to use like an ethical framework. So I guess what I thought, it's only 2 lectures in your foundation unit, but I would love you to kind of walk away from this section at the very least having a basic idea that ethics exists within public health, and then also that there are these things called frameworks. And these frameworks, hopefully later on, if you end up with a career in public health or something, that these are some things you can go back to yourself when you're kind of going through problems. So frameworks are sort of a shorthand way of like actually being able to go through these steps and deliberate. So we can have a look at that. And then, so make sure that there are references using the Vancouver style, and then a word count at the top. So let's have a quick look now at some of these things. Okay. So I didn't have questions. Sorry, I kind of zoomed through all that. Is everything clear? Did you have some questions?
Like about this COVID vaccine